Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 25 of Generation GC, The Click, with Devin and Patrick Parker of Til Morning. Last week, we talked about California, The Way I Say I Love You from Generation RX, and next week, we'll be talking about a song from The Young and the Hopeless. Formerly known as Parker, Til Morning is a pop rock band from Chicago that formed in 2018. Although, as you'll hear on the show, Devin and Patrick have been playing together for much longer than 2018. They blend aggressive punk rock influences with some really sweet pop melodies, and their most recent release, as of recording, is the single OK, which came out this spring. Among their influences is, of course, Good Charlotte, and in fact, they used to cover The Click. If you've been following the Generation GC Twitter lately, you've probably seen me hint about some exclusive content for episode 25. And you're probably wondering what that exclusive content is. Well, Devin and Patrick actually played The Click acoustic for you guys as we were recording the podcast. This is like a fan favorite song, and Good Charlotte almost never hears it live. So to hear, number one, just to get a performance from a band, a cover on the show was so cool to me. And for it to be a track that I know a lot of you really, really love, that we never really get to hear live, was amazing. And since we have two guests this week, you'll be able to hear both Devin and Patrick introduce themselves and their pronouns. Some things I wanted to mention: of course, please visit antisemitism.card.co and blacklivesmatters.card.co to learn more about anti-Semitism and the Black Lives Matter movement, respectively. We need to speak out against all forms of injustice, and, I should mention that if there's something that you would like to hear me speak out against, please, DM me. I want to help, use whatever little platform I have to encourage y'all to get involved. I know a lot of you, myself included, are spending a lot of time on TikTok lately in quarantine, and there's some great stuff that is funny or educational or just weird. And TikTok is a lot of fun. I've only made a few posts, but it's a lot of fun to use, but it's also been a breeding ground for a lot of forms of hate from, racism and anti-Semitism, but sexism and slut-shaming and fat phobia is rampant on TikTok, and this is not okay. And I just wanted to encourage y'all that if you are on TikTok, please don't let yourself be influenced by other people's hate and hateful comments and videos that just spew really hateful, horrible language towards others. If you in your heart know that what someone else is saying is wrong, but on a place like TikTok, people will spew hateful language so casually, they'll make it funny, or they'll try to make it funny. Please don't let that influence you or make you think that it's okay, because it's not. I'm also going to include in the show notes the petition to save the USPS. If you're like me, which I hope you are, you've been ordering more stuff online lately in an effort to not have to go to stores as often. Maybe you still have to go to stores to get fresh produce, things like that. But when it's like, oh, I just need one thing, I'll just order it on Amazon. A lot of people that are ordering a lot of stuff are experiencing delays in receiving the things they ordered, and I think a lot of that can be attributed to issues with the USPS. So I'm going to insert that petition to save the USPS in the show notes. Finally, Generation GC stickers are here. Do you want a sticker? Two things you can do. Number one, support the show on Anchor. Go to anchor.fm/GenerationGCPod, P-O-D, and that helps me sustain the show and have the right equipment, as well as do things like print stickers and get them mailed to you. Number two, you can donate to a charitable organization. There's a lot of organizations listed at blacklivesmatters.card.co that could use your help. And then you are going to send me a screenshot of either your support of the show or your donation, as well as your mailing address. You can DM me on Twitter or Instagram at GenerationGCPod, P-O-D, or email generationgcpod@gmail.com, and I will mail you stickers. I will also occasionally tweet or post on the Instagram story about other ways y'all can get some stickers, whether that's good deeds you can do or ways to help spread the word about the show, so make sure you're following. That's about all for our intro, and now on to episode 25 of Generation GC.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Devin Parker, and him.
Yeah, I'm Patrick Parker, him. So, yeah, today we are talking about The Click, which I guess we could say is a song on Good Charlotte's self-titled album.
It once was, right?
Yeah, so the album originally came out on September 26, 2000. The Click was a bonus track on the Japanese edition of the album, which I assume came out later. Mm-hmm. The Click was a B-side on the Little Things CD single in Australia in March 2001. You can actually still find that on Amazon, but it's like, pretty expensive. And it was also included on a deluxe version of the album in the US, like a re-release. And that's the version I have. Like, I don't know which physical copies of this album you guys have, but I had a CD that on the front it said GC, and then track 9 of the album was I Heard You, track 10 was The Click, and then Walk By.
That's the same. Yeah, that's the same one we had.
Same one, yeah.
We had the shirt to go with it.
Yeah. So the original version of this album has pluses and minuses because the original version does not have The Click, which is a huge minus because The Click is possibly my favorite song on this record. But the original version has a picture of the band on the cover. And I don't know why or what's up. The Click, it is included on the vinyl version of this album that they've pressed recently, but yeah, that was a recent find. But like, it's not on Spotify, right? And I've heard it's not on Apple Music,
right? Yeah, because we looked for it on there.
Yeah,
you can only get it on YouTube now.
Yeah. So like, what is up with that?
It is strange.
They have not played it in the US, I want to say ever, or at least not in a long time, but they did play it in Toronto in 2018.
Yeah, I actually just watched that video, the live video of it.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was great.
Yeah. That's super cool.
I had someone on the show recently. The episode hasn't aired at the time we've recorded it, but I had someone on the show recently that lives in Toronto, and they were at the show, and I was just like, they were telling me about hearing The Click live, and I was very jealous.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. The Click was also quite notably the theme song for underGRADS. So have you guys watched underGRADS?
We have not. No.
Oh my God. So listeners, if you don't know what underGRADS is, so I just watched it. I watched the whole show. It's on YouTube. It's 13 episodes. It's one season, and they're like 22-minute episodes, so you can blow through it super quick. It originally aired on MTV. It's apparently now shown on Comedy Central in the US and Teletoon in Canada, but you can literally find it on YouTube. This song was written for the show. And really? That was something that I found in my research. There was an interview that Billy and Joel did for Ear Candy Mag, where Joel says that this is his favorite video, and Billy says he was excited that they drew us as cartoon characters, and Joel says that they were looking for someone to come up with a song for the show, and we didn't really expect to get it, but we just wrote the song and they liked it, and it worked out really quickly and really well. So yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about the show later, but this show is so great. Cool. And it definitely, like, watching the show, I picked out little bits and pieces. Like, everyone on the show loves Star Wars, so like that's why they have the Obi-Wan Kenobi line. But before we get back to that, I want to help our listeners get to know Til Morning. The first question that I love asking people is how they first heard Good Charlotte. So I'd love to hear that, as well as like how Good Charlotte has influenced Til Morning.
Okay, cool. I think we always knew of Good Charlotte, and we were listening to more like Blink-182 and Green Day and The Offspring, and we weren't quick to like Good Charlotte. I think we just like heard them on the radio a little bit, and some other kids that were like more into the pop punk, like Simple Plan, Good Charlotte,
Sure, yeah.
They were more into them, but we like Newfound Glory, and we got tickets to go see Newfound Glory, and Good Charlotte was also playing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we saw Good Charlotte live with Newfound Glory, I feel like they killed Newfound Glory.
Really?
And we were instantly like super big fans. We were like, all right, these dudes are the real deal. And we will listen to them now.
Yeah.
They mean business.
Yeah.
I did not get to see that tour, but I did have a poster from it on my wall.
Oh, really?
On my wall in my dorm in college for a few years.
Yeah.
I think I just found it on like Amazon or something, and I was like, "What? Like, this is so cool."
Yeah, it was a super fun show. We went there. It was in Chicago. It was at the United Center, or the UIC Pavilion, actually. But it was packed, and we had seats that were really high. But we ran down to the floor section for Good Charlotte and jumped the wall, and security was like,
I love that.
trying to stop us, but we just ran into the pit, and we hung out there the whole time. And after that, Good Charlotte has been a major influence on us.
Yeah. We used to remember we had an old guitar player, Johnny, and we used to practice in his basement over here in town, and we used to cover. As a three-piece, we would cover like the festival song and the anthem and stuff like that all the time.
Yeah,
that was like
we played the clip
art
back then.
Yeah,
too.
every time we got together to jam, we were jamming those songs.
Yeah, and Johnny was really into Good Charlotte, and I think that he always had that CD playing, and that's another reason why we listened to them so much. And now Good Charlotte means something really special. Johnny actually passed away. We were in a band together when we were like 16, and he was, I think he was 20, and he passed away at that time. And it's just like, Good Charlotte and that self-titled record and all the records actually that came out before then is something that we would listen to and share together. And now it's just like, has a, a special meaning
More
to
of
us.
like a deeper meaning.
Yeah. We went to go see Good Charlotte with Johnny. We saw him at the Metro, and they signed his shirt, the black shirt, and it has a GC on the front.
Oh,
and,
cool.
We actually met him and we're talking with him for a little bit and gave him our demo and everything like that. And that was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It wasn't on a cassette tape, but it was a long time ago.
So back up a little bit. So first of all, okay, so you guys are brothers, like Benji and Charlotte Good Charlotte. Who's older?
Me, Patrick.
Okay, so we're
only by a year and like 4 months.
Yeah, we're like Irish twins.
Yeah. So that's about the same as me and my brother. My brother is like almost exactly 18 months younger than me.
Oh yeah.
We were not very close growing up. We get along pretty well now. But were you guys always close growing up?
Yeah. When we were younger, we would try to kill each other daily.
Sure.
Yeah, every day.
But then we stopped fighting each other when we were like 16.
Yeah.
And then now we just get annoyed with each other, and but we deal with it well now. But we've always played music together.
Yeah.
We started writing songs together every day in our bedroom when we were like
we've always
12 years old.
Yeah, we've always had we've got an older brother and an older sister too. So me, Devin, and our older brother Dustin were always stuck in one room.
Yeah.
So we had two bunk beds and one bed. So we didn't really have a choice to be that close.
We were very close always,
Yeah.
So you were always kind of writing together. It sounds like there wasn't really a period of was there a period of where you were doing your own thing with music, or was it just kind of together from the beginning?
Yeah, we split up for about 5 or 6 years. I got married and moved away, and we kind of stopped playing in the band for about 5 years. And I had kids, Pat had kids.
Okay.
And once they got old enough, we got back together and started Til Morning. And that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah. So it's been about 2 years that Til Morning has been a band.
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel different than when you were playing music before this? I think it was Parker you guys are playing as.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same now with Til Morning as Parker. It was just kind of like a name change.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, when we're going back to like our old guitarists, like back like 15 years ago, the music's totally different. It's totally different now.
Really?
Yeah,
How
the
so?
music,
Yeah.
and the music and the strategy that we're kind of going about it is now, we're treating the band as a business, and we're a lot more serious, and we are knowingly doing things on purpose to get us to where we want to be. Before, we were just playing music, having fun, drinking beer, and playing every show we can get. We would play like 6 times a month in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, same place twice in the same month.
Yeah.
And we'd expect people
But
to
that's like what I feel like a lot of young bands kind of go through that phase because they're like, well, we got to play every show. We got to play every show.
Yeah,
we would just say to every show, basement party, everything.
Yeah, we were hustling back then, and now we're trying to promote a little bit smarter and put our shows a little bit further apart in different areas and do now there's more like online marketing and different things like that. So I think the way we treat it now is different, but musically, before we were more like Mess, Good Charlotte, Simple Plan, Blink sounding, and now I think our sound has evolved to be a little more like a little more pop rock, still with those punk roots, but a little bit more.
I can tell like the vocals are very like I feel like rough is almost not the right word because like you carry the melody so well, but I hear a blend of some pop influence as well as all this punk influence that's not like all of the other quote unquote pop punk stuff that I think people are used to hearing.
We used to sing. We used to sing more like Good Charlotte, Mess.
Sure.
And, even like Fall Out Boy with that more like nasally, clean, very clean voice. But then, I think when we started the band again, we kicked it to the curb, and now we're trying to do our most true voice possible now.
Yeah. So you mentioned Fall Out Boy and Mess, 2 Chicago bands. Chicago's had a lot going on. Real Friends, Knuckle Puck, Sleep on It in recent years.
Yeah.
Were you guys involved in like the local scene? Did you get to see a lot of those bands when they were like little bands playing small clubs in Chicago?
Not those more recent bands. When those recent bands were kind of doing it, that's when I was like having kids and not going to shows. But the bands before that, like, we used to go see like Alistair. I don't know if you're familiar with, like, we used to play with Much the Same back in the day. Show Off. A lot of those bands, even Fall Out Boy, we would see them before they were like massive.
Wow.
So I think the first round of the pop punk, like Mess, Alistair, Show Off, Fall Out Boy, those bands, there was a lot of great bands like Starstruck, another band in Chicago. Back in the day, we would go see those guys, and then those guys have gone on to they did some really big things.
Yeah.
Plain White Tees, another one.
Oh, that's right. I forget they're from Chicago.
Yeah.
I saw them with Simple Plan back in like 2005.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, get the lineup of this show. First band of the night, I think, was Stray Light Run. I think, and then Paramore, and then Plain White Tees, and then Simple Plan.
Wow.
In that order. Yeah.
That sounds like a great day.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. I mean, I had gone for Simple Plan, but it was great, and it was like very wild to then hear "Hey There Delilah" blow up like a year later.
Oh yeah, and our producer Sean O'Keefe produced "Hey There Delilah."
Oh really?
Yeah, so it's really cool to hear like his version of how it all went down and everything like that. Yeah. He produced Fall Out Boy, "Take This to Your Grave" too. So it's
he's worked with like a lot of the big Chicago people.
Yeah, he was he's produced a lot of those records. Which is really cool to be able to work with him and be able to like learn more about the history of these songs and music and just nerd out a little bit.
Yeah, that's gonna be real fun.
Yeah.
So the latest single from Til Morning is called "Okay." It came out this spring. Can you talk a little bit about what inspired that song?
Yeah. Definitely. Till Morning, or yeah, okay by Till Morning. I was dating a girl, and I dated her for like a year, and I feel like the whole time we were dating, I was just like, I kind of had anxiety about the relationship, and I felt like it was I was just like looking for reasons for it to end, and I felt like I was kind of sabotaging myself. And then I would tell myself during the whole relationship, I'm like, just enjoy the moment and think about the little things that are going on. As these things that I'm thinking of aren't massive problems. I'm just kind of creating them for myself. And then after a certain amount of time, me and the girl broke up. And about 4 months later, I was in my room, and I was cleaning out my nightstand, and there was a bottle of her perfume she left in there, and I sprayed. Yeah, and
that's like the biggest memory is smell.
Yeah, and I sprayed it, and it just it brought me back, and it made me so sad for what happened with us, and it made me feel really bad for her that I kind of put her through that, and I put myself through it, and I just kind of felt bad. And I walked over to the piano, and I wrote okay right then. I wrote it in like 10 minutes on the piano. And then we worked on it. I showed it to Pat, and he had some little like musical changes, but that was pretty much it.
I love it. It's a great song, and I'm sure that's a story that a lot of people can relate to. I know I have definitely had moments like that where something just like brings you back and really, really makes you think about a situation in person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did.
I'm so glad to have you guys on the show. I had, reached out to your publicist, just kind of being like, hey, do you have any bands that like Good Charlotte? And he told me that you all cover The Click, and that, you like that song, that's been a big influence. But specifically, like, what made you want to cover The Click?
The Click, I think, is a really cool song. In the way that we can relate to it, because it's about you and your friends, and having that together. And maybe you don't fit into all the other cliques, and especially when we were growing up, me and Pat dropped out of high school and felt like we were kind of the outsiders and didn't really fit into certain crowds. So The Click is a song that really we could identify with.
Yeah,
and I feel like Good Charlotte does a really good job with telling the story of that.
Yeah,
like simple song structure and just those like anthem type of choruses.
Yeah,
is awesome.
And The Click is definitely that. So
yeah,
we wanted to do The Click.
And now Devin and Patrick Parker of Til Morning will play The Click acoustic.
Cool. All right. Yeah. 4, 3, 2, 1. Just because I walk like Obi-Wan Kenobi, people talk like you don't even know me, and that's alright, 'cause I get down with GC. So I walk on, listen to the CD. Some people lie, they do it just to spite me. Behind my back, they don't know what I see, but I don't care what they say. I don't need them anyway. I'll just go about my day. But anyway, you go out on Friday night. I'll stay, but that's alright. 'Cause I have found a click to call my own. In crowd, out crowd, I don't care. Your crowd, my crowd, we can share. 'Cause I have found a click to call my own. So come and talk to me on my computer screen. Best years of our lives are as easy as they seem. And one day we'll look back and
then we'll have to laugh. They used to call us names, now they want our autograph. To get the girl and make the grade, it's all show, it's all a game. I will lose it if I play. It's all the same, so I don't care what they say. I don't need them anyway. I'll just go about my day. But anyway, you go out on Friday night. I'll stay in, but that's alright. 'Cause I found a place to call my own. You count out loud, I don't care. You count my cloud, we can share. 'Cause I found a place to call my own. She said she'd call, but I know she won't. She won't. She won't. She won't. You go on Friday night. I'll stay in, but that's alright. 'Cause I am out free on my own. You drown out loud, I don't care. You drown my crowd, we can share. 'Cause I am out free on my own. I don't care what they say, I don't need you anyway. I'll just go about my day. But anyway, I don't care what they say, I don't need you anyway. I'll just go about my day. But anyway.
That was awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Sweet, thanks.
No, I definitely relate to the song a ton as well. Just this idea of, you know, not really kind of fitting in with the mainstream or the popular kids, but finding, you know, your own path, finding that group of people that you do get along with. And it's kind of, and this is definitely, you know, my sort of meta-analysis as, you know, the lens that I can kind of look at this song with, you know, 20 years after it's released or whatever. But it's like, I feel like this song is coming from the perspective of someone who has recognized they don't fit in and is like okay with not fitting in the mainstream, but very much still wants the popular kids to like see how successful they get, you know?
Oh yeah. It's like, it's like, just wait, you know? And that's what we were saying at that time too.
Yeah. But one day we'll look back and then we'll have to laugh. They used to call us names. Now they want our autographs. And I loved that line. I love that line.
And
so
I think that's and that's so cool about Good Charlotte, that they are like outwardly speaking about that. And that's something that me and Pat have really, that's our dream, and that's been our dream forever. And I think Good Charlotte for us made us feel like it's okay to not be embarrassed to say, like, one day we're going to be famous, and you know, that's where we're going. And I remember reading that Good Charlotte, when they first sent out their demos, they would send it out and say, you know, sign us now, it'll be cheaper. It'll be cheaper than later. And I thought that you know, that confidence in yourself is good. You know, don't be a jerk, but, you know, believe in yourself, and that's great. And also with the click, you know, there's that story of like that. I know we've both been there, to where you're in one crowd and then maybe a girl you like and she likes you is in another crowd, and you're like, you know, you maybe can't can't be together because of that, or there's tension because of that, and they kind of introduce that in the interlude of this song, and you don't know it's going there, but it goes there, and it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's rough. I mean, I definitely did not have a good time in middle school or high school. And I think I bought this album. It had been out for a few years, but I bought it in 7th grade, which, I think especially for girls, 7th grade is like always the worst year. But hearing this song was very refreshing. And yeah, I remember like the boy I decided I had the biggest crush on in 9th grade once I got to high school. He was like very cool. And we were on like swim team together and stuff, but I was like, oh my God, he's so much cooler than me. Like,
was he in a band?
He wasn't, but I'm pretty sure he played guitar, and he always listened to like cool indie rock and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
On the swim team.
Yeah. So
swim team sweethearts.
Yeah, right. Oh, I wish
Marco Polo.
I wish. But there was also like, if we're gonna talk about especially that line of, they used to call us names, now they want our autograph. There were some not nice people on the swim team. And I ran into one of these not nice people from the swim team at a hostage calm show. And I was just like years after graduating college, I like ran into one of these like mean girls from high school at a hostage calm show. And I was like,
wow,
what are you doing here? I was like, I'm taking photos. I have a photo pass. What are you doing here? No, this is my safe space. What are you doing here?
Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here.
She was probably chasing a cool guy who was outside of her.
That's exactly what she was doing. Yeah, that's exactly what she was doing, actually. She was like telling me all about it. And I'm like, okay, bye. Go do that. I have to ask, you sort of answered it, but what was like your guys' middle school, high school experience before dropping out and everything?
Hated it.
Yeah, we both just hated it.
Like school, which is stupid now.
We would like, Pat was in 2nd grade and ditched school and walked home. And
our grandpa was
they found him in the backyard hiding on the side of the house because he didn't want to go to school in 2nd grade.
God.
Our grandpa, my mom's dad, he's retired now, but he was a Chicago police officer, like a sheriff. So it got so bad that she would have him drive out in the morning, and he would drive me personally to school, and he'd walk me in the front door. Yeah. And he would leave, and I'd run out the back and still run all the way back home.
Yeah, it's not because like we always had friends, and we were pretty popular in school. We always had friends that were in school. We just really disliked authority and like homework and the teachers we just telling us what to do, and we were just like, we were out of there.
Just feeling like this isn't for us.
Yeah. We did school. In 6th grade, so we were 12 years old, and we ditched school and took the bus to the mall. Yeah. At 8:00 in the morning.
Skateboarded with all the old people walking around.
Yeah, we were skateboarding in the mall
before the stores even opened.
And then mall security like calls the school, and and then we dropped out. I dropped out when I was 16, right when I was able to. And then Pat dropped out at the same time as me. And we were just like, our whole mind was made up. We're like, we're going to be musicians. We don't need to go to school. And, I've went on to go to college since I got a bachelor's degree. Yeah. There you go. And, I have a career, and Pat has a career, and he's also went to college.
Yeah. And associates with the city college.
Yeah. So it's like
through my union. So we're great in school. Now I tutor people in math.
We'll do school, but on our terms, If we don't want to be there, we're not going.
It's on our time.
I feel like that's why for a lot of people, college is better, because oftentimes in college you get to do it a little bit more on your own terms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did the traditional, I graduated high school and then I went to a 4-year college right after graduating. But college was definitely better in a lot of ways, just because it was like there were more classes, but also socially, it was like you had more opportunities, I felt like, to find your tribe.
Yeah. Freedom, you kind of, I don't know if you lived there, but.
Yeah, I did. I went to Splata State, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and you kind of are a little bit more, financially stable than you are in 6th and 7th grade,
Yes.
So
yeah, I made $9.20 an hour lifeguarding my first couple years of college before I got other additional on-campus jobs. But I had a meal plan, so that $9.20 an hour for a couple hours a week, that felt like the big bucks.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Get some ramen and a 6-pack and you're good.
Yeah, no, I was living large. College was great. My freshman year, I had a double room and my roommate moved out 6 weeks into the year. So I had this like giant room and they never brought anyone else in. So I had this giant room for like most of the year by myself.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, that is cool.
I lived in a shitty studio apartment with my ex-wife. and the floor was crooked. Yeah, the floor was like crooked. You could put a marble on one side and it would just roll all the way to the other. It was like, it was so weird. And I never noticed it until one time Pat came over and he was like, dude, your floor is like sideways.
Oh my God. Yeah. I live in Jersey now, not too far from where I grew up, but my place is all right, but I every so often I'll like go over to someone's place that like is a little nicer, and I'm like, my place is fine. It's nice, it's safe, but sometimes I'll go to somewhere that's a little safer, and I'm like, wait, your sink doesn't do that weird thing?
Yeah. You actually have hot water.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Something I wanted to note also about this song is that it kind of also relates to how I feel like Good Charlotte has felt about being in a band. Like they've talked in a lot of interviews about how they never quite fit in the mainstream. They sort of got shunned by some of the alt scene once they like quote unquote sold out. So they didn't always fit in there either, but they always had a lot of diehard fans that were like their clique.
Yeah. I remember now, thinking about it, like we used to skate, like rollerblade and skateboard and stuff all the time. But I remember going to the park and there was a lot of people who were either all about Good Charlotte or there's people that like really hated Good Charlotte.
Yeah.
Like, cause like the style or, or like too poppy or fake or something like that's what people would say.
Yeah. We talk about this on this show a lot, but they never, the bands like Blink were around the same time, but Good Charlotte wasn't exactly like Blink, Simple Plan was also around the same time. And I think Simple Plan is probably the band that shared the most fans with Good Charlotte. Like if you liked one, you probably liked the other.
Yeah.
But to me, like knowing both of those bands super well, I'm like, no, but here's all the differences.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they've despite like all those people that, would say, oh, I hate Good Charlotte, they've always had, I think, a lot of diehard fans.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
And I think that Good Charlotte, I think, did a good job in not like, falling off, and they work extremely hard and they always have. Yeah. And they're continuously putting out music and, growing and, being professional musicians and songwriters. And I think that anyone who could have written them off as being, a trendy band back in the day would be proven wrong now because they're still doing it,
I know. I did an Instagram live last night on the podcast account because I was like, all right, I should try this out. It was very, very nerve-wracking. I don't know if y'all have ever done like an Instagram live, but it was very weird. And I did have people watching and like asking questions the whole time, but it was just so odd to like have my face and see my face and myself talking as people are like typing questions. But anyway, one thing we were kind of chatting about is like, when are we getting new music? Because it's been like almost 2 years since the last album, but I do trust. I mean, they're always working so hard, so I'm sure that they're, obviously everyone's plans are kind of shifting right now, but I trust that they are working hard on some stuff.
I believe that too.
For sure.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about undergrads, and I will kind of school y'all on undergrads a bit.
Let's do this.
So in my research, by the way, I just found that the band had shared this song on Facebook like 3 years ago. And they just said, like, who remembers MTV's undergrads? This song has a crazy backstory. And I'm like, what the hell is this crazy backstory?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is this crazy backstory? I found that interview with Ear Candy Mag that Joel talks about how they essentially wrote it for the show. And, the song is essentially in third person. The first line they say, the first verse they say, and that's all right because I get down with GC, so I walk on and listen to their CD. Great line. Iconic. Yeah. Third person. It's great. So undergrads. It was created by Pete Williams, who had actually dropped out of college at the age of 19. And it's a cartoon, and it depicts the first year college experience of a group of friends from high school. They're all going off to separate colleges, but like all in the same city. And they just try to stay in touch with each other. And they will like video call each other. So that's where you get the line, so come and talk to me on my computer screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But what's wild is that like this came out in 2001. Like, I mean, I guess some kind of video calling existed, but it was not like as easy in 2001. It was not quite as...
Maybe they were doing like AOL,
Yeah, I don't know. It's there's one of the kids. Oh my God. One of the characters, his name is Gimpy, and he is like my favorite. Like, I'm holding my hand over my heart right now. I love Gimpy. He is this Gimpy, yes. He's like a nerd, and so he goes to Techerson Tech, and he's very good with computers. So I guess maybe Gimpy is like pretty spot on about knowing how to figure out computers and such. And Gimpy, in my mind, Gimpy is the one that picks up on, hey guys, we should video call each other. But yeah, it's a very, very fun show. It's kind of weird in the way that like cartoons geared towards people who aren't children tend to be kind of weird, right? But it's very funny, and it's just very endearing.
Oh, and cool.
Nice.
It's, oh my God. It's you both have to watch it, and like everyone listening needs to watch it. It did not have a big audience or get great reviews when it aired, and it did not get a second season, which like, oh my God, with the way the first season ends, I'm just like, we need a second season.
Next now.
Yeah.
Where is he now? Where is Gimpy now?
Dude, I want to know. But this is, it's a cult. It's like a cult classic. They did a Kickstarter, and they did a Facebook page, and he has a Twitter and a YouTube to bring back undergrads. They are working on a movie right now. Okay. I don't know the exact status, but as of March of this year, I think was the last video I saw, they were still working on the movie, and I'm very excited because it's going to be great. But it's fun, like watching. I watched that video. It was just Pete Williams, the creator, like talking about the status, and like the first few comments were people were quoting like The Click, and I'm like, yes. So the Click is the theme song to undergrads. In the first episode, you find out that like the group of friends on the show, which is, let's see if I can get this all right, Nits, which Pete Williams has said Nits is kind of like him. Nits, Rocco, Cal, and Gimpy.
Nice.
Yes. Oh, Gimpy, I love Gimpy. He's amazing. He's an icon. So they call themselves The Click, and they're like watching a Star Wars DVD in episode 1. There's a lot of Star Wars. Nits and Cal go to the same school, and they share a dorm room, and there's a Good Charlotte poster on their wall.
Oh, cool.
It's just a cartoon version of the album cover, but I'm like, damn it, I want like a real printed out cartoon version of that album cover. Good Charlotte also appears in episode 12, Risk, which is like the spring fling, and they play.
Oh, cool.
Yes. And per a comment on the Kickstarter, they are looking into using this song for the eventual underGRADS movie. So, no definite on that. But
I think Good Charlotte needs to re-record it for that. Maybe that's what they're working on.
Oh my God, I would love that so much.
That'd be cool if they redid it, you know?
Yeah.
That would be really funny.
Yeah.
Or even wrote like a follow-up song or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe just wrote, you know, a whole album that was like songs to soundtrack the movie.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
That would be very cool.
That would be awesome.
There's a part, I think it's the episode where Good Charlotte plays on the show that, you know, they're talking like, oh, Good Charlotte is, you know, gonna play the spring fling. And I think Nis is like, oh, Good Charlotte, have I heard their stuff? And then someone else walks by with like a stereo playing the click. So it's very meta.
Nice. So do you think, all right, hear me out here. Do you think that Good Charlotte created underGRADS, and then, you know, do you think that they had something to do with the creation of underGRADS?
No, I think the show, based on what I was reading, I think the show was in production and they were looking, it sounds like the show was like in production, clearly not finished because Good Charlotte is like written into the show. Like there's a Good Charlotte poster, but
So you think that someone writing it was just a major Good Charlotte fan?
I don't know that. And that's why I'm like, I would love to talk to the creator of underGRADS, like have him on the podcast too, and be like, what's up? I reached out to him on Facebook. His Twitter DMs aren't open and I couldn't find an email, but I like messaged the Bring Back underGRADS Facebook page and I'm like, please come on my podcast.
Yeah.
But my thought, like realistically, is that they didn't have a poster, like, you know, the Good Charlotte poster in the dorm room wasn't necessarily there from the start, and it wasn't necessarily Good Charlotte playing the spring carnival from the start, but that it was like 95% finished, and they just kind of had to add that background and you know, those few scenes where they play. Yeah, that's my. It sounds, and this is why I'm like, what is this crazy backstory the band is hinting at on Facebook, right? My guess is that like maybe MTV, I don't know if MTV reached out to like multiple bands or if MTV like only reached out to Good Charlotte, but I don't know. In Joel's answer to that interview, it kind of sounded like they didn't think they would get it, so it wasn't like a sure thing. But this was like,
maybe the creator just wanted to get a band involved in the show somehow to like increase viewers or something, you know, just to tie it into something that was like hot on the market music wise.
That makes sense. Exactly. I guess why they would take it off the record, because it, you know, if that was written.
Well, no, it wasn't that they took it off the record. It wasn't included on the original version of the record.
Oh.
Yeah. So the original version didn't have the click. And then for some reason, the version that you find on Spotify and Apple Music nowadays is like the original version without the click. Yeah. That's what I don't know. It makes me mad.
Now, did they, in the show, where is the song played like as an introduction for the show, or is it like just in one of the episodes, or how does
it's
the song?
It's a theme song, so it's in every episode. Okay. So you get like a little clip. It's not like the full song.
Right.
Okay. But you'll have like an open, you know, a few minutes opening scene, and then the theme song and a little montage with the theme song. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna watch the whole season tonight.
Oh, you should.
Yeah, we're staying up.
I'm not going to sleep till it's done.
Yeah. No, it's a very quick watch. It, you know, totals out to a few hours, so you could definitely finish it in a sitting. I was like, the other day I was like, all right, I should watch some of this show before I do this podcast, and I was like, oh, the whole thing is on YouTube. Shit, like this was like Monday night, and I was like, I hope I can finish it all. But like, yeah, obviously I had no problem getting through it.
Nice.
Yeah. So you guys have seen the music video for this song, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that it was just like an illustrated music video. I didn't put it together that it's the show.
Yeah, so it's clips from underGRADS, and then the band is rocking out. I just noted that I find this video absolutely hilarious because like Benji has his spiky black hair, and I think Billy is like bleach blonde. Like they're trying to be super punk, but like none of them have like almost any tattoos. Yeah. And not that you need tattoos to be punk, because you don't, but a few years later they would be covered in tattoos. And this is like such a catchy song, but the video is fun. And I think Joel said in that interview with Ear Candy that this was his favorite of the videos that they've done.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I remember.
They just needed the money for the tats.
Yeah, I remember Joel just had that one star.
Yeah.
He had that one star in his shoulder. And that's funny because Johnny, I went with him to the tattoo shop, and he got that same star tattooed on the same shoulder.
I love that.
Yeah.
I know that it was like the day they all got signed, they all got GC tattooed like on their arm. And I think I know a couple people that have also gotten like the same little GC.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is fun. Now, Devin, I think you're actually a tattoo artist, right?
Yeah, I do tattoos, I'm a amateur tattoo artist and a volunteer fireman.
Wow.
I'm kidding. But I do tattoos. I've worked at a shop for a while. And now I do them out of the house on close friends and people that I like. And I work as I'm a product designer, like a UX designer, 9 to 5. But yeah, I do tattoos.
So do either of you have any band or music related tattoos?
Oh yeah, I have a social distortion tattoo and I have a messed tattoo.
Oh, what's your messed tattoo?
It's a little head and it says "fucked up kid."
That's a great tattoo.
Yeah. My social distortion one is it's the social distortion skeleton and it says "live before you die." Also
great. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
that mess tattoo. Wow. I love that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I got that when I was 17 and the artist was like, when we dropped out of school, we rented this like apartment and it was just a constant party and we would have tattoo parties there all the time. And we were having a tattoo party and I was getting this tattoo and it was like the sun was coming up and like everyone was hammered. And the guy's like, he's like, "Are you sure you want to get fucked up kid tattooed on your arm?" And I'm like,
that's like exactly the kind of tattoo I would have gotten if I could have gotten a tattoo at 17. So
yeah,
I think you just did what like every 17-year-old punk kid wants to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Pat's got a whole bunch of tattoos. I don't know.
I got one. I got a Blink-182 tattoo.
Oh yeah, I did the Blink tattoo.
Yeah, did it not long ago, a couple years ago. And then I got an acoustic band from like Minnesota, Jamestown Story. Mm-hmm. I have a tattoo of one of their album covers, and
you got some lyrics on your ribs.
I got music staff on the back of my neck. I've got a starting line song, the second verse, and a good night's sleep. I got that tattooed down my left side of my ribs. Yeah, everything's kind of band specific stuff is there, but we've got microphones and pianos and all kinds of stuff tattooed too.
I love it. Most of my tattoos are music related in some way.
Yeah. I got an Alkaline Trio tattoo as well.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Who doesn't? I feel like everyone's got that.
Yeah.
Anyone who likes Alkaline Trio has a tattoo.
I think that's probably correct. I do not have an Alkaline Trio tattoo, but I think.
Well, you come to Chicago, Molly, and we're gonna sit you down and
we'll both get one.
I know. I'll come to Chicago, eat. I don't know. Do they make vegan deep dish? Someone's got to make vegan deep dish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Chicago's got it all.
Got it all for you.
Have some vegan deep dish and get schooled an Alkaline Trio and walk home with an Alkaline Trio tattoo. I like that.
That's right. We'll listen to a ton of good Charlotte and
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
And watch some undergrads.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Where
It's so
where
good.
are you at?
I'm in New Jersey.
Nice.
Jersey, Austria.
Jersey.
Yeah. So
I'm going to Philly next month, I think.
Jersey.
Oh really?
I learned how to drive stick shift, and I passed through the New Jersey Turnpike. My first time driving stick.
Love that.
So I haven't really been to Jersey, but I was on that highway though.
Hammered drunk.
No. I was,
Yeah, Jersey's good. I mean, I grew up here. You know, I went to school in Ohio, and I've like pretty much been back in Jersey since, except for like touring a bit. But
is
Jersey's,
the shore legit? Like the show with the pier and all that?
so the New Jersey has so many beaches that are all so different. I had just gone down to Long Beach Island, which is like such an opposite vibe of like Seaside Heights, which like Seaside Heights is a boardwalk and it's like everyone is just getting drunk and really rowdy. Long Beach Island is very family friendly. There's no boardwalk. All of the ocean front is just houses. Like there's not really businesses on the ocean front at all. And then you have places that have boardwalks, like Ocean City also has a boardwalk, but it's like a family friendly boardwalk. So there's like a lot of different beaches in New Jersey.
Nice. That's cool.
So they are not all like Seaside Heights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe you. I believe you.
So do you guys have any like specific stories you want to share about the clique?
I don't know. I don't think so. We talked a lot about the clique, you know. We
definitely used to cover it for sure.
Yeah.
When we were younger. Absolutely.
No stories about the clique.
I like it more now knowing that it was written for a movie. I think that's super cool.
Now that Obi-Wan
professional.
Kenobi line makes sense because we're like, what the hell? How does he walk like Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. The Obi-Wan Kenobi line makes a lot of sense. The third person line about, you know, listening to the GC CD makes a lot of sense.
Because I'm like, he's listening to his own music. I mean, I do that sometimes, but
yeah. I remember, like, I had known that this was written, that this was, you know, the theme song to undergrads, but I just assumed that the show wouldn't be available anywhere. Obviously, just forgetting the existence of YouTube, which has literally everything ever.
Yeah.
We on the Instagram live last night, we got into a whole discussion of like which characters from different shows would like Good Charlotte, and we went into this whole thing of like who from Riverdale would like Good Charlotte, who from Degrassi would like Good Charlotte, and they tried to get me to talk about who from Glee would like Good Charlotte, but I've never watched Glee, so I couldn't help.
What about It's Always Sunny? Who from It's Always Sunny would like Good Charlotte?
I have never watched that.
Oh man.
Well, so I'll ask you, who from It's Always Sunny would like Good Charlotte?
I think Charlie.
Okay.
Charlie would like anything, you know.
Give him a beer, he'll listen to whatever.
Yeah, he would like. I think I don't. You know, Mac might. But okay, what's another show? The Office. You know The Office, right?
Oh yeah,
Who likes
I
Good Charlotte?
Dwight.
Dwight gets down with GC.
Yeah, Dwight definitely gets down with GC.
Jim
Angela,
and Pam probably
been to a couple GC gigs in
Jim's
their time.
probably a little more indie, you know. He's probably like in Weezer a little bit more than GC.
But Pam would be like, "Oh, Jim, won't you come? They're playing in Scranton. Come with me."
Yeah, they're gonna play Seasons.
They would probably see Michael like being really dorky at the show. Yeah, stage diving or trying to crowd surf. And
he probably
Jim
has Good Charlotte tattooed over his stomach like arch, you know?
Yeah, and then there would be a talking head, and Jim and Pam would be like, "That's the last Good Charlotte show we're going to, now that we know Michael's going to be there." Something like that.
Yeah, he would ruin it for him.
Yeah, definitely.
But then Stanley would be there too.
Yeah.
He'd be security.
Yeah, well, and then Stanley, there would be a talking head, and Stanley would be like, you know that monologue Stanley has when he's talking about Pretzel Day, and he's like, "I hate my job, but I like Pretzel Day."
Yeah.
And he would be like, "Look, I just worked security at this concert to make a few bucks, but I liked it.
Yeah.
He would like be into it. He would totally be into it.
That's a great show.
Yeah, The Office is great. Yeah, I watched it like 2 years ago, and I just binged it over like a few months. But it's great, and it's like now that I've seen all of it, I have a lot of fun going back and like just catching reruns whenever they're on. Because I'm like, oh, I have the context, so like the jokes are funnier now that I have all the context.
Right. Yeah, you get so much more.
Yes. Have you heard of a podcast called Office Ladies?
No.
Oh, it's great. It's Jenna Fisher and Angela. So Pam and Angela, the actresses. And they just go through it every week. They go, episode by episode. And they've had a few, like they've had Rainn Wilson, they had John Krasinski on the show. But it's great. And like, especially hearing all the backstories and stuff, I'm like, oh, this is like, now I love it even more, like catching, whenever I catch it.
Yeah, I need to listen to that.
Yes, it's great.
Check it out.
You definitely should. So this has been awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, this has been really cool. So, oh my gosh. Now, I mean, you kind of said how excited you were to check out underGRADS, but Devin and Patrick, how has the click held up for you over time?
Great.
Still rocking.
Same vibe. When we first heard it, and it's just like has that big intro and that lead comes in, it's just like a classic, pop punk rock, a great song with great energy. And I played it today, and you still get the same vibes from it. So it's really it's definitely held up well. Yeah.
I love it. I feel like it's despite in some instances it kind of feels like it's about a very specific period of time. I feel like it's held up well, and I still relate to it a ton. So what has Good Charlotte meant to you guys over the years, and how has that changed over time?
I think, Good Charlotte has inspired us in a lot of ways, especially as brothers.
Yeah.
Brothers thing is totally, that was easy to make that connection with them because they're brothers,
Yeah, and it's led us to, feel good about some of the things that we do as brothers in a band. Like we play a lot of acoustic shows, and I know that we used to have a DVD of their acoustic set.
Oh yeah.
And it was just seeing that and us doing that. It just makes us, feel good about doing the things we're doing. And they work together really well, and they work hard really well. And both of them being kind of different, both of them kind of having different vibes is really cool too, because like me, I'm a lot more punk, and Pat is a lot more like pop. If Pat's listening to Ariana Grande, and I'm listening to like Minor Threat or something like that. So I think that we're
literally how it's
there was some interview where I think it was Benji said something along the lines of how they wanted to be like a mix of Minor Threat and the Backstreet Boys. Like they wanted to like keep their punk roots, but they wanted to be super fucking famous like the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah. You can tell Joel he's all about that,
Yeah.
Yep.
The singing, the hair.
Yeah. I think later on in their career, Joel got a little bit more punk, and he started
for sure
tattooing a little bit more. But I think that those guys, there's a lot of brothers in bands, and like Oasis, those dudes, they don't even talk anymore, and they would try to kill each other.
Right. Oasis, like Liam and Noel Gallagher, they fight all the time. The only time they're in the news now is when they're fighting or complaining about each other.
Yeah. And I think, Benji and Joel are a positive influence that we can look up to as brothers on working together. And I think that they're both, as we're talking about Benji and Joel, I think that they're both, someone to look up to in a family way. They're both like, they got Cameron Diaz, and they seem like they do a good balance of keeping work and life a little separate, but doing good at both. And Billy as an artist influenced me a lot too.
Yeah.
I know that he did a lot of the art for the Good Charlotte covers, and he is a graphic designer, and you know, that's something that I was doing back then, and then I went to, you know, that motivated me to go to school for graphic design and
I love
be
that.
what I am today. So I think that all the members of Good Charlotte have really pushed us. Not Paul too much, you know. Paul's just hanging out over on bass, but he's holding it down. You know, he gets in the pocket and he stays there, and that's cool. But yeah.
Have there been any like challenges that you feel like you faced in terms of being in a band with your brother?
Yeah, I mean, tons of them. Like who's more important than the other? Whose word is you know, holds more weight than the other? Right. What do we sound like?
We both have like a vision of what we want the band to be, and then it's like, if it was just Dev, it would be too strong going one way, and then if it was just me, it'd be too strong going the other way. But then when we find like the sweet spot and write together, that's what's happening now. Those are the songs you're hearing.
And we just figured that out not long ago. I mean, when we were in a band before, it's like I would write a song and we'd be like, all right, cool, let's play your song. And then Pat would write a song and we're like, all right, cool, you know, we'll play your song too. And we wouldn't change them that much. But
I feel like that's the situation where Blink-182 is not brothers. They weren't brothers, but Blink-182's Neighborhoods, that's kind of, I think, where that faltered, is like, you can tell which songs on Neighborhoods were written by Tom and which were written by Mark.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, for some bands that works, and that's cool. For us, I think that we're working best with when me and Pat actually sit down together, and we'll have a small idea, like, oh, I thought of this hook, this chorus, you know, idea, and then we'll just write the song from there. And it doesn't take us long to do it. You know, we write a song in an hour, and once we have an idea, but doing that together and now working together in that way is something that took us a little bit to get to and to figure out that that's how we need to do it.
Yeah. I mean, even with someone that you are related to, it still takes time to find that that pattern where you just like click and you get it.
Yeah. And also with that, it's like, you know, the band is our life, and we're working hard on it every single day. But at the same time, we also want to be brothers and just enjoy ourselves outside of the band, and have a good brotherly friendship. And that's sometimes hard to turn off the band, because there's a lot of stress that comes with the band. You know,
every conversation is band.
So it's like sometimes
I'll see Jeff calling. I'll be driving home from work in traffic on 94, and I'm like, "Oh my god, it's about the band."
He's like, "I'm not answering the phone." So sometimes we gotta put the band aside and just have fun and you know, not think of it, because sometimes it is. And I'm always like grinding hard on the band and like, what are we gonna do today? What did you do for the band today?
Right.
What did you do for the band today?
And it's good, and you have to a certain extent. It's like you have to, but
but it's also really healthy to just sit there and, you know, sit on the beach together and just
to have hobbies,
enjoy your time together as brothers and to build a relationship in that way.
For sure. Yeah. I feel like that's something that anyone doing any kind of creative pursuit has to do, is like that balance between hustle and, you know, hobbies and relaxation and socializing. But it seems like there's an extra kind of level when you are related.
Yeah, because we're not going anywhere. You know, we've been in bands before with members, and we used to be in a band. We would practice every day when we were like 15, and we had a bass player, and he would just want to sleep in or not have practice, and we would like we would go to his house and like knock on his bedroom window.
He'd have his mom like come out and lie and say he's like sick,
and you know, because me and Pat were so crazy into the band, and you know, but we don't have to deal with him forever, but we have to deal with each other forever. So it's we better balance it well, because we're gonna, you know, if we don't, we'll end up like Oasis.
Right. Yeah. Well, this has been amazing. Do you have any last words about the Click, about Good Charlotte, about Til Morning, or about yourselves?
No, I mean, you can check us out at tilmorning.net. That has the links to everything social. You can find us anywhere you stream music. We're looking forward to new music coming from Good Charlotte.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, and we thank you for taking us on this podcast, and we're really excited to hear it when it comes out and hear all the other songs.
Yes.
Yeah.
So before we head out, Devin and Patrick, so oh my gosh, so I do a Spotify playlist, Generation GC and Friends, and that's every song that we cover on the show, except obviously I can't put the click itself on the playlist. Because it's not on Spotify. But I also include songs from our artists who are guests. So I think I'll put okay, because that's the newest one. But I also like to get some recommendations. So why don't you each you can pick out just anything you're listening to lately, anything you're digging.
Great. You want us to do that right now?
Yeah.
All right. Pat, you go
Whatever
first.
Style?
Yep,
Yeah.
anything.
A song? You go first.
Dude, okay, so it hasn't even come out yet, but Taylor Swift, I love Taylor Swift. She's releasing a song tonight. She's releasing her next record tomorrow. So and I think that the song is called Courage.
Okay.
So you need to throw that on there. And I haven't even heard it yet, but
you just know it's going to be. Okay.
I just know, and I love her.
I love it.
Right.
I also love Taylor Swift. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
What a thing to wake up to.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna say this acoustic song, but it's kind of like a band. It's a band too. It's on the radio a lot, like 93 XRT. They're called Camp, and I think it's spelled with two A's.
Yeah, CAAMP.
Okay.
And their single is By and By.
Okay.
But it just jams. I've been playing that. It comes on the radio all the time at home. My mom's always playing 93 XRT, like in the kitchen. So I hear that song like 4 or 5 times a day, like in the evening, and it's a really great song.
Love it.
I'm gonna go with that one.
I'll have to check that out. Well, this has been awesome. Okay, so you said tilmorning.net is the website, and what are your socials?
Til Morning Band.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. Devin, Patrick, thank you for coming on the show. Listeners, thank you for tuning in to hear Devin and Patrick Parker from Til Morning talk about The Click from Good Charlotte's self-titled album. Last week, we talked about California, The Way I Say I Love You from Generation RX. Next week, we'll be talking about a song from The Young and the Hopeless. My name's Molly. I've been your host. You can follow Generation GC at Generation GC Pod, POD, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also follow me, Molly, at Hudelson, MHUDELSON, on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you're subscribed to the show on iTunes, and please rate it, leave a review, and tell all your friends to listen. Thank you all for tuning in.